This week's episode is sponsored by the Brilliant Futures Institute.
I saw James Wedmore said the same thing as what I found in my courses, is that I sell a lot of courses, but only 1 or 2% would actually go all the way through. I realized I'm just wasting my time. What I'm about to show you is for people that are getting results for their clients or customers on a consistent basis.
Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast.
You cannot be a courageous leader if you're not vulnerable.
Your legacy is every life you've touched.
The only thing that changes our life long term is when we raise our standards.
Now is the time to take risk.
The way it's always been done isn't necessarily the way it should be done.
What is your dream? What do you think 2050, 2100 is going to look like?
The most incredible sort of mystery, I think, is now the question of what comes next.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters. Visit preeminence.tv to learn more about how to create a preeminent presence for your business, organization, or personal brand. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or just ask Alexa to play the Preeminence Podcast.
Today is special because I'm going to show you some of the things that took me a long time to learn. And a lot of people want to get out of their town. They want to get out of their local market to have a presence worldwide. This is going to allow you to do that. So you're not competing against the person across the road or across the table. You have the entire world as your market. This one is called Creating Your First Online Course. So how many of you here are a coach or a mentor, or you're thinking of doing that? Okay, so we have coaching. You looking to used to be a coach? Okay. So what is it that interests you the most about having your own online course?
Having a greater reach outside the community.
Having a greater reach. Okay, great.
And creating something on my own rather than going through an organization to do that online course for me. So
having it's something you own. You're not going through an organization getting a cut of it, and then you're also branded with their organization. You want to have your own identity. Great.
Yeah, just working through Skype or FaceTime or that kind of thing too.
So being able to serve people remotely one-to-one using those tools. Okay, great. So as we're going today, if you have questions and comments, please feel free to put them underneath this video. If you're watching a recording of it, put it underneath the video. We will go through and answer those questions. I may have some time today to answer those questions live here, but just stay engaged, and we're going to go through some great material. If you miss something, you may be able to get in on the recording of this. So I'm going to head right to the first slides here because it's going to be important that I get through everything here. So today we're going to cover how to structure your high-value, highly leveraged online course, and then the sell-first strategy, which is something I wish I would have learned from the beginning. And then how to raise your fees, or should you raise your fees? A lot of us are trying to figure out how can we compete on price all the time. We see so-and-so down the street is charging $100 an hour or $150 an hour or $50 an hour, and you feel like I have to compete on that because everybody sees us on this level playing field. We have to get out of that. So I'm going to tell you about me, but I'm only going to tell you about the parts that are relevant to what we're talking about today. So back in 2012, I had been selling programs online, so I had online trainings for $47 to $197. Over the course of 2 years, I learned to upscale from $47 to $197. And it wasn't enough to make a living on, because as soon as I paid for advertisements for people to buy my program, there really wasn't much left. Or if I did a joint venture with somebody, and joint venture for digital products is usually about 50%, I lose 50% right there. So I was trying to figure out, how do I make this work? If I sold 1,000 of them, could I make a living at it? And you think about the numbers that are involved with trying to sell something at a low ticket, it's really difficult to do. So I met a mentor. Actually, I wanted to joint venture with a woman who has already had a training online of how to create videos, but she was using different types of cameras. And I said, well, I have this training how to use just your iPhone. And so she was really interested in it, and I said, she said, so how much is it? I said, well, it's $97. And she said, oh no, I couldn't do that. I said, I I really can't sell it for anything less. She says, no, it should be like $500. I'm like, there's no way anybody would pay $500 for this. Even though in that training, I had over 90 videos on how to shoot, how to edit, how to upload it, how to monetize it, how to put it on YouTube. I gave people everything, and I thought that's how I was going to help people, is by giving them everything. And actually, that was the first thing from the truth. I needed to give people just enough to get them to that next level, that next step that they said they wanted to get to, help them get that result. So I wasn't really doing them any favors. So I met this mentor. She introduced me to him. And he really tore down like what I thought I had to do in order to succeed online. And so he had me create a program. And so I created this program, and I sold it to 3 people for $1,800 for 3 months. I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. It totally changed my life. Revolutionized my business. I called him up. I said, I got this program, $1,800 for 3 months from these people. And he's like, cool. Well, I pay my house cleaner more than that. I was like, ooh. And that wasn't, he knew me, and he knew just what to do to push me a little further. And he wanted me to recognize my value. Not from what everybody else was charging, not from the information, but the transformation. So people don't want to hire a coach. They don't want to hire a mentor. They don't want to go through an 8-week program. They want the result. So if you can deliver that result elegantly and efficiently and help them get that result, then they need someone to help them through that. Then they'll look to you to hire you. So I had this mentor, and after about 3 months, I said to him, and I'm not bragging, I wanted to show you how powerful this is. I said, in this group of people, I said, I want to make 6 figures in a month. I want to sell over $100,000 of training in 1 month. And everybody's like, go for it, go for it. But I had no idea how I was going to do it. And so a few days later, this woman reached out to me that I'd met probably 6 months before. And she said, hey, I'm putting together this video program I'd love for you to be on. And so I said, great, I have this $197 product. And she said, well, we take 50%. So we sold 63 on one webinar. And from that, so I got 50% of that, but that's what my split was with her. So 50%. Now, I gave people an email saying, thank you so much for being a part of this course. There's some important things you may want to look through this email. And one of them was they got a call with me. So out of 63 people, 21 people took a call with me. So we talked back and forth. Some people, I was able to help them right then and there. And it was just, they just need this little tweak. Other people, they wanted a delivery really fast. So I had a 3-day event. And then other people they had a bigger long-term project they wanted help with over a year. So I offered a 3-day event, and I offered a mastermind group, which I call a mastermind group. It was really a mentoring group to the people on there. So out of that, we had 5 people became mentees in this program, and we had 2 people that came to the first event. So that led to over $100,000 of new business over about 45 days. So I was really excited about that, and the reason I'm showing you this is because I would have never been able to do that selling $47 programs. Never been able to do that because I didn't value the content that I had, but I didn't value the transformation I could help people with. So then from there, I decided, I want to get back into video production. I took that same idea and I used that for my video production. I wasn't selling a video. I'm not going to make a YouTube video for you. I'm not going to help you create a commercial for your business. I'm going to help you get that result of bringing more people into your business, getting your phone to ring, or I'm going to help you have that transformation by giving you a different image online, by up-leveling your image so people see you as a higher value than you maybe even were valuing yourself in the past. So the reason I say that is because I want you to understand if you start at the bottom, which I'd say something like Udemy would be starting at the bottom, and you're creating a course. So everybody says, go ahead and create a course. So you create this course, and you upload it to something like Udemy, or you have your own website, and you're selling your course on there for $47 or $97. You really can't make a living at that. The thing with Udemy, if anybody been there, bought a course on Udemy? Anybody bought a course online how to do something? Yes? Okay. So we have courses that are very inexpensive. I bought 2 courses on Udemy. One was on how to speed read. I got through like the first couple lessons and I just discarded it because I paid $10 for it. It was 90-some% off. Now, if you look here, I don't know if you can see that up there, but they have the prices. This is Udemy. You have a $194 program that is now $11.99. If you go to Udemy, you're seeing everybody's doing this. And if you're not promoting it yourself, if someone lands on the Udemy page and they buy it from Udemy, Udemy takes 50% of that. But if you promote it on your own, you get a bigger percentage of it. So this one right here, I just picked one. This is a conscious sleep practice for $11.99, was $74. So either this is her model for trying to make a living, or she has something else after this that is bigger. But I found that when people have low buy-in, they have a low engagement, and low engagement means no results. Or the results are, they just don't get the result they set out for, so they kind of like have this bad taste in their mouth, they don't want to do that again, or they just move on with their life and they stick with that problem. And I found that between 1 and 10% successfully complete the low-price courses. Now, what does that say to us that are the content creators? Are we really being responsible if we're selling a program that only 1% or 2% or 5% are getting results? You mentioned Amy Porterfield. She's great. Someone else who was in our mastermind was James Wedmore, and I saw James Wedmore said the same thing as what I found in my courses, is that I sell a lot of courses, but only 1 or 2% would actually go all the way through. And then like 2 years later, someone would say, hey, I forgot my password, can you help me? They never went in. And so I realized, I'm just wasting my time. So what I'm about to show you is for people here that, and if you're online, people that are getting results for their clients or customers on a consistent basis. If you're asking, well, what should I be an expert at? This is probably not for you. If you feel like you've gotten people consistent results over the years, or you got results for yourself, if, for instance, you know how to write a book, you know how to publish a book, you've done it many times, that's something you could teach someone. You could teach that process. You could guide them through it so they actually complete that book, or they complete the outline and they know the contacts of how to get it published, right? There's a huge value in that they don't have to do that all on their own. So what if you could create a program that would have like a 90% success rate? 90%. That's what I see. And when you have this type of training, you're going to get a much higher success rate. And guess what? Your testimonials are better. I just looked through online. I have old websites that are gone, but they have this thing called the Wayback Machine that you can look at just about any website online frozen in time somewhere. So I went back to the very beginning, and all my testimonials were, Matthew's such a great guy. I love how this program is laid out. It was easy to follow. Nothing about results. It was all about like the technology or the personality, but it wasn't about them getting results. Now, when you're doing this, the testimonials are about the transformation in their lives. That's going to, if you were here for the training on collecting testimonials, that's what sells your next program. That's what sells your next services. People have seen that you've done this. So don't sell general information by the pound. We already have Google. You don't need to do that. That has very low value. And then don't get stuck in the trap of selling your time. I'm going to charge you X amount of dollars per hour, because now you have no leverage. If you're working one-to-one especially, there's no leverage there. You want to sell results. And a lot of us, that's really difficult because, well, I can't promise people are going to get results. What if I can't promise someone's going to get out of bed and do anything? So if you can sell a result saying, I'm going to help you over the next few weeks get this result. As a matter of fact, we're going to have accountability. You're going to have your peers around you. We're going to check in every day, or check in every week, and I'm going to be here for you, and you're going to get the training. So there's a tremendous value to that because people don't feel like they're all alone. They're not going to just discard that program and it becomes shelf help, where they just buy that program and stick it on the shelf for some time in the future. And we've all done that. It's because we had no accountability, is we had nobody there to check in on us. Or if we got stuck, we just stayed stuck. So here are the steps in creating your high-value online course. Research your market. You want to make sure that somebody else is doing this. If you're the only person in the universe doing this, now you've got to educate the market. You can leapfrog off of what other people are doing right now and say, how could I make this better? How could I make this more elegant? How could I use different words to attract my clientele, the top 10% I want to attract, the people who are actually going to do the work? Start with where they have left off. Don't get discouraged saying, oh, there's 29 people just like me that are already doing this. Great. Look at what they've done and start there. Start right there. You just skipped all the trial and error. You don't have to educate the market. People are already educated the market for you. Sell it first. Now, why would I say sell it first? If you take weeks of time creating videos, paying someone to build a website for you, and you do all this trial and error on your own, and you're paying to have this all done, now you have this outlay of time and money just to make your first course. How do you know if it's even going to sell? What if it doesn't sell? What did you do with all that time? It was wasted, or there was a lesson, right? So, okay, I'll learn to not do that again, or do it differently next time. I'm going to teach you how to sell it first, and then you create it. Because you only create it when someone says that I want it and they paid for it. It's not speculation anymore. Deliver it live and record it. Now, why would you record it?
For your own reference, or you could sell it later.
Exactly. So for your own reference, you record it, or you can sell it later. Or the next time you go through the program, do you think you'll be teaching the same thing a second time? Do you think you need to do it live every time? No, you don't. So once you found, like, wow, this was a great way, I went through this training, and that's set. The next time people go through it, they watch the recording. And then you get together later on in the group, later on in the week, and then you talk about it. You provide group interaction and accountability. That's vital. If there's no interaction with a group or with you, and there's no accountability, they're just going to flake out and they're not going to complete the course. So you want to make sure people complete the course. And this is, yes, them investing significantly in themselves through you and this course is going to be vital that you do that, but also they need to be checked in on. Coach and mentor the student's progress. So you don't want to leave them saying, cool, I've automated this stuff. There's so many automated programs on there that are high tech but not high touch. People need the social interaction. So don't leave the group. Stay in the group. Keep answering questions. And give people things to do. Give them assignments. So the number one thing you're doing is you're selling a result. No matter if it's this program or other programs, what is your result? I just went over that with someone just recently. What is a result, and now how do you want to deliver it? You're not a coach. You're not a speaker. You're not any of these titles. What do you do? I help people get this. I help these people get this result. I happen to speak about it. I happen to have this course. I happen to have this free ebook. I happen to have this free video series. That's how you deliver it. That's not who you are. So think about that. So you're selling the results. And if people ask you, so what's in this course? Well, here's the outline. They don't need to know all the details. They're not buying the details. They're buying the results. If you get into all the details, they're buying details, and that's not what you want to get them interested in. As long as you know where they need to go and the steps they need to go through to get to the result, that's all they need to know. That's all you need to know to start. And when you're creating this program, since you already sold it and you have people in the course, you just need to stay ahead of them a week or two. You just know where you're going to be at, and you create that ahead of time. Now, what price do you sell it for? Was this something you sell for $47 or $97? No. No, the thing I found, and you can charge whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you what to charge, but what I found is if people pay anything less than $1,500, they're not fully invested in themselves getting the results through this course. So you can charge people $1,000, you can charge $500, whatever you feel comfortable with, but if you don't feel that you're worth it, it's going to be really hard for you to sell it. So don't think about, well, so-and-so charges this much, and down the street this guy charges this much. Think about what is that result worth in their lives. And people are buying you. They're not buying your product. They're not buying a coaching program. They're liking you, they're trusting you, and they want to make sure that when they are done with the program, they are a renewed person, they are closer to that goal, or they've achieved that goal they set out for. And this was told to me by one of my mentors, is people are buying your confidence in your competence and helping them get the result that they set out for or that they desire. People are buying your confidence in your competence and helping them get the result they desire. That's what they're buying. They're not buying you as a coach. They're not buying you as a fitness trainer, right? So let's talk about this. What are some of the results you bring? What are some of the results you bring in your market? Not everybody at once.
Well, I'm teaching negotiating skills, so the result would be a person who's highly competent in negotiating, getting a fair value in conjunction with what they're selling or buying.
Fantastic. Well, that's one thing I'm not very good at. So that's a great service, negotiation skills. So what is the value of something like that on, say, a very large deal? Do you do any like large deals that are in the hundreds of thousands?
I have. I've left corporate life and now I'm doing this on my hook. So, but of course the answer is yes. And in large deals, of course, the difference between handling skillfully and poorly can be enormous. You name it, you know. I mean, just take 10, 20% and multiply it by whatever the amount is.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly feasible as the target. You know?
That would be one of the skills I would love my kids to know, is how to negotiate, how to communicate, how to, there's so many things that are those skills that they'll really help people through in life. And so what you're selling is negotiation, but it's also what negotiation will get them. It could be money, it could be their job title or their job position, right? All those negotiations, we take a lot of the negotiations. People say, this is what you're getting paid. Or no, that's not what we want. And we just take it and say, oh, okay. But that confidence you have of being an excellent negotiator, what's the value of the confidence? What's the value of getting 20% more for your property? You know, all those things, that's what you're selling.
Yes, essentially you are, I agree with you, you're selling a result. But a result is not a single result. If you've gained a skill, it can be many results.
Yeah. In a way, this just came to me, in a way it feels like you're selling power.
Yes.
Because you may have a skill developed that other people don't, and now you have the upper hand to get what you want out of the deal.
Well, yes. I try to teach people to understand power. Right?
Yes.
You don't always have power. Sometimes your best result is to just get out with your shirt. So it depends. But
yeah.
So you're selling an ability to assess the situation and analyze how to approach it and take advantage of the power you do have.
Thank you. That was great. I appreciate it. So anybody else who has something, what is it that you're selling?
So I have a divorce wellness coaching program where I help assist people calm down the overwhelm and chaos to prevent them from making costly decisions. So the result is actually saving them money by taking the emotions out and making the process more smooth and having greater health at the end of it. And more clarity.
Yeah, so you have the financial, but what is the real value? It's beyond the financial, isn't it?
Yeah, it's health.
Peace of mind?
Peace of mind.
Peace?
Confidence, peace, freedom.
Yeah. How would you put a price tag on that? Is that $100 an hour, $150 an hour?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, because there's people that will pay, you know, if they get caught up in the emotion of the divorce, they'll spend thousands with the attorney that, you know, I can help them think more clearly and make better decisions.
Yeah. Great.
There's a lot.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, I am working with folks who have been through really traumatic experiences, PTSD, veterans, as well as all kinds of traumatic experiences, to help them break through that feeling of being stuck, to have that break through the feeling of being stuck to a sense of joy, even though that's hard for some people to even wrap their brains around when they're stuck, is what is joy, and will I ever feel joy again? And
So trauma to joy, possibly.
Sense of well-being.
Sense of well-being.
Peace.
So you're selling peace.
Peace.
What's the value of peace?
There's, you know, it's
$150 an hour, right? So when we start looking at it that way, it kind of can seem ridiculous because these are huge shifts we're helping people make in their lives. And it's not all financial, right? I mean, the peace, that wasn't financial. That is for me, that's one of the most profound parts of my life is that I have peace in areas of my life, and how can I expand more peace in my life? So, and what are you helping your client avoid, and what is the value of what they're avoiding? You're not selling, I don't want to get into sales, but you're not selling the heaven of here's what it's going to be like, but you're also selling the hell of where they're at. What's it worth to get out of this? That's what they're really thinking about. Now let's talk about time leverage. Why I recommend people serve in a group is because you have more accountability. You have other people in the group that if someone's stuck in their story, they talk for 15 minutes straight without letting anybody in, everybody feels it, everybody sees it. And it just takes one person to say, you know what, that's what you've been saying for the last 3 weeks, what are you going to do about it? Now there's not just you holding them accountable, it's the group. And that adds more power to everybody that's going through that. Students are exposed to questions they haven't thought of yet. So if I'm doing this one-on-one, we're kind of working in a silo, and we think that this is how everybody is, this is where everybody's at. But when you hear questions coming up, you're like, oh, I never thought of it that way. I didn't know I was going to have to go through that. It's just exposing them to a much broader understanding of the real situation they're in. And they're introduced to situations that may encounter down the road. So there's some people that may be more advanced than them, and they're going to hear what's coming in the next few weeks. You can run this, so it's like if it's a 6-week program, 8-week, 10-week program, if that's the way you choose to do it, you may have people coming in at week 6 that are starting week 1, and they're hearing people who are just about finishing the program. They're like, oh, wow, that's great. And now they're learning from everybody in the group. It's a great way to do that. And then peers support each other to cheer each other on. So I'm going to show you tools for this program. Now, when I started, I paid for websites. I paid for a lot of things. I'm going to show you how you could start this. It doesn't really cost you anything. I'm going to go over Facebook, but you can create a Facebook group and make it secret. You make it secret when you set up. That way people outside don't know it exists. They don't see who's in it. If it's a secret group, you don't want to have, especially if it's a sensitive topic that you're helping people with, you don't want the world to know that they're in that group, so keeping it secret. To communicate with people every week, you'd use Zoom or free conference call. Zoom is about $15 a month. It's a great service. It allows you to connect with people through voice as well as through camera, so you can see everybody. I think up to 26 people you can see at once on one screen. It's a phenomenal software for $15. I paid a multiple of that when I first started. Free conference call is exactly that, free. Either one that you use here, record it. Record it. So unless it's like private conversations, don't record that. But in all your training, any calls that you're going to have to repeat this information sometime in the future, record them. Both of them have free recording that comes with it.
So just to clarify, you're talking about using these means to conduct your individual classes. Let's say you have a series of classes, right?
Yeah, so for Zoom, what you would do, some people just want to do it over the phone. They don't want to do like slides or camera or anything. You use Zoom and you just broadcast your screen if you're going to go through slides, and you can also do a screen, and then you can have your
Zoom
video.
It has a video feature people can see.
And screen capture, both of them. Mm-hmm.
And so screen capture I can use if I've got a series of PowerPoint slides or something like that, and I want the group to see those. I can use it that way.
You got it. And it records it into an MP4 video file, and I'll show you what you do with it. And then creating your forms. So if you want to have an intake form to get to know that person even better than your first call with them, I use Wufoo because it's more professional, but you can use Google Docs, Google Forms for free. I see people who have huge groups that just use Google Docs. I don't like the security of Google Docs, especially if you're asking very personal, private questions about their personal life or about their finances. I don't want anybody else to see that, so I use Wufoo.
Google Doc?
Google Docs. That's in Google, your DOC, documents. Yep. And then they have a form feature.
So forgive me, but
yeah,
clarify what you're using a form for. I'm not sure I'm following it.
So let's say if I was just selling an automated course for $197, I really don't know the person very well. It's very high tech. I've got it all automated, but I'm not spending any time with them.
This is for the client to submit information
Mm-hmm.
to you. Is that
Yep.
right?
Yep. Matter of fact, I have another one. This is a little more in depth, but every week they fill out what did you accomplish this week? Where did you get stuck? How did you get unstuck? All those things. So when we meet back up, I've looked at to see where everybody's at. That's just another layer here. So this is a really cool new feature they have in Facebook. Is you can actually have a membership site right in a Facebook group. So you have your secret Facebook group. And if you can see the screen here, I don't know if it would make sense to show it on the screen here. But when you set up your Facebook group, it's completely free. Set up as private, and then you go to the More tab. And then you'll see there, I've made it in a box. It says Edit Group Settings. And once you do that, it'll ask you, what kind of group do you want this to be? So I have this as a social learning group. That allows you to put these into units. So you did that training, and you recorded the screen, you upload it to Facebook and make it a unit. Now it's a membership site. It costs you absolutely nothing. That's like new, I don't know, the last month or 2 months.
So you're talking about taking a recorded session, uploading it onto Facebook.
Yeah.
And then somebody else can access it and view it.
Yes.
Okay. And now are you saying that you do a live one and then you later sell the recorded one? Or do you use the recorded one interspersed with live ones? Or
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll lay out how I would deliver the course. But with this, you've recorded the session, and you think this was, I put the slides out, I did a good presentation, I captured it. Remember, we sold it before we made it. Now you're making it. You're delivering it live the first time, capturing it in your recording, you're putting it into your group, you don't have to do it again. Unless something changes, you like, I want to fix that part, you do it again. Otherwise, now you've recorded it. The next time people go through it, the new people come through, you don't have to do it again.
so are you saying that you think you can sell a course for $1,500 for people with let's say, 5 or 10 recorded segments? Is that right?
Yeah, I like to do 6, 8, or 10 weeks. And so that'd be those different segments. But that's the training, but there's also the other part that I'll get to here, which is what's vital is the interaction.
Right, so they view something, they go through the whole thing, then you come on and take questions and have further interaction.
Yep, and I'll get to that next.
Okay.
Yep. And so you'll see here, your group has social learning units. This says, create an agenda with ordered posts, sort resources by themes and categories, track group participation, help people learn something new. Wow, that's right there, that's worth $100 a month at the minimum to have that service now for free. So how do you leverage your time? You pin the code of ethics or the code of conduct to the top. You know how to pin a post? Make sure that everybody comes into your group, understands you have a code of conduct. This is how we do things here. You're not selling stuff to other people. You're not going to be the coach. Things like that, so that you have a code of ethics that people adhere to. As a client is onboarded, introduce them to the group. Hey everyone, this is Sally, this is James, or whatever, and then make them feel welcome. This is Zoom. If you haven't seen it before, Zoom allows you to have lots of different people interact. You can turn on their microphone or turn off all microphones. You can have one person speak and then they take the floor, or otherwise you're in charge all the time. This is Wufoo. This is a simple Wufoo form I have. It's just a form. There's nothing special about it. You can just send a link to somebody and they'll get a web page that's your form. So here's how I'd run it. You provide your Zoom link for what you're going to do live on Monday morning. On Monday, you hold your training. You do it live and you record it on Zoom. All right, you held it live. There's no interaction there. You're just broadcasting it out to this small group. And it's recorded. Once your training is recorded, then you take that MP4 file and you upload it to your Facebook group. If you want to come back to this later, we do have the recording of this. But there's a lot of steps in this process I just want you to understand. I like to tag members so everybody knows that, hey, the new video's out. I just tag people the first time. And then in the Facebook group, move the video to a unit so you have structure to these trainings. They're not just going to go down into the Facebook feed and they get buried there. So you want to make sure you put them into units so people can click on the training, which are units, and you can go from there. Now you need to serve by answering questions within the secret Facebook group. You're thinking about service. How am I serving these people? How am I helping each one of these people get to that end goal that I promised? And you can do as much as you possibly can to promise, but like I said at the beginning, you can't make people get out of bed in the morning. So you do everything in your power to help people get that result. But they have to be responsible for getting the result themselves. Always make that apparent. You're not selling them to climb on your back and you're going to take them up Mount Everest. So deliver your training content live and record it. Follow up with Q&A coaching mentoring sessions on Thursday. So you have your Monday, you have your training, you give the assignment, they have a few days, they have some questions, they implemented some things. On Thursday, you get back together in that Zoom, and now you talk. What'd you run into? Where'd you get stuck? What was your win? What was your challenge? That's where you're coaching people in a group. This is where you're leveraging your time. If it's one-on-one, even if you're charging $200 an hour, that's one person. But if you have 10 people in the group, now that's $2,000 an hour. You could look at it that way. Does that make sense? And I have a sample calendar here. So if you look at Monday, check Facebook group, post the link to the training that you're going to do later. And then I like to do 3 o'clock. Now, if you have a global audience, I think globally, 3 o'clock may not work for people who have a full-time job, but I like to work with a lot of entrepreneurs, people that have control of their time. So I found 3 o'clock was the best for the world because you're catching people in Australia, New Zealand early in the morning, but it's not so early that it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then you're also catching people in Europe. It's not too late from this, like 8 or 9 o'clock. And when you start having 1 or 2 clients there, you start thinking about it. But when you have people on opposite sides of the globe, I found that 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock is the best. Oops. And then we have, you'll notice every day here, I don't think this laser pointer works very well on the screen. You see at the beginning, I check it every morning, see what the questions are, and then I check it in the evening when it's convenient for me. I don't leave it more than 24 hours during the week. You're a business, so you can take weekends off, but always be serving people. If you find that people need you on the weekends, do they really need you on the weekends? Or are they making their emergencies your emergencies? Things like that. Just make sure you're there to serve. And you see, Thursday is you're checking it, you're posting a link to the group chat you're going to have later on in the day, at 3 o'clock. And then I check again on Friday morning, and then I'm done for the week, and then I come back on Monday. And you'll see each one of those things I have a half hour, but really it could be posting a link does not take a half hour. Just wanted to show you where I do that. So I want to close with some reminders here. Don't be lazy. You're helping people get this result, and your reputation is based on how many people come out of your courses with the result. If people go into your course, they pay $1,500 or $5,000 or whatever it is, and they're not getting a result, you're speeding up your demise of your business. So just feed people how they need to be fed, but also if they're adults, hold the line. Hold the line and address their excuses. If people are going on in their story, say, all right, time out, thank you very much, but I'm not going to accept that. They're coming to you as the authority, and you need to be the leader of that group. If someone takes a mic and they start talking for 10 minutes about how terrible their life is or how they can't make money on, in their business or whatever, or how bad the economy is, stop them. The quality of your group is only going to be as high as the lowest quality experience that you allow. So exclusivity is important. You don't want to just allow everybody in that has the money for it. You say no. That's going to raise the value of your group, is saying no to the wrong people. And be responsible for keeping people accountable for what they said they wanted. So if they said, you can say, okay, I'm hearing your story, but what you came to this group here was to get this result. Is that something you still want? Oh yeah, of course I want it. Great, well we need to move on. That's what they're paying you for. They're not paying for you to be their friend. And so, I've had someone hang up on me before, but that's cool. They came right back and we kept on working. People aren't used to being confronted with their own stuff. It's their stuff, it's not yours.
Did you ever fire anybody from one of your groups?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, twice.
And did you refund them their money?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't want any of that karma. I just take it. You're out. So this kind of goes to this one I call pencils down. I learned this from a draftsman, that when a client is working with you and you get ahead of where they're paying, then I stop. I pencils down and say, fantastic, hey, I love having you in the group. You're behind on one payment. I'll let you back into the group as soon as I receive that payment. When can I see that payment? Don't let them get ahead, and now you're serving them without payment because your value went from huge value to zero. Oh, cool. I don't have to pay this person, and they still serve me. I did that so many times when I started. That cost me a lot of money. And it's not fair to the other people who are paying. If someone's paying you, let's say, $500, and the other person is getting in, I'll pay you. Well, I had this bad thing happen. Pencils down. Be okay with stopping people in their story. Know what their next steps are in working with you. What's next after this? Is it like you've served them completely? Is there a way for you created now a partner? Is there some way now someone could be certified doing what you do, but through extra training? Or is this person got the result completely, and that's what you came here to do is just serve that, and that's it? Or is that one part to many things that you help people with in their lives? And then remove them from the group when you said they would. So if you have a 10-week training, and you say after 12 weeks, then you're removed, you want to give them, if it's a 10-week course or if it's a 6-week course, a couple weeks before, say, hey, just a reminder, in 2 weeks, this is wrapping up. And let me remind you that we have this next thing coming up. If you want to enroll in that, we can just keep moving forward. If you want to stay in the group, it's an extra X amount of dollars per month to stay in the group. Some people may want to do that. I like people graduating, so they're not a perpetual student. It doesn't look good on me if they're a perpetual student forever. But if they're up-leveling to the next thing, to get through the next level, that's great. So remove them from the group when you said they would. Otherwise, if they're stale and they're not doing anything, but people see, wow, there's 60 people in this group and only 2 people are commenting or even looking at the post, that looks bad. But you're thinking, well, I've got 60 people in this group, that looks good. It doesn't.
Thank you for listening to the Preeminence Podcast. Subscribe to hear powerful interviews and insights each week automatically downloaded the moment they go live. Share this episode with your team, your friends, and post it on social media. Let us know your comments and suggestions for the show at m@ascend.net. That's the letter M @ASYND.net.